Yeah, they might have traumatized you, but was it to the point of 43 years of celibacy? Tim Gunn just blew my mind. You heard me right. Over 4 decades without any freaky fun. But I will say, within reason. He just came out in a very real, vulnerable way, reminding us exactly as to why self-love is important, reminding us what intimacy could do with a person, reminding us what taking advantage of someone's love means for their future. Tim Gunn, baby boy. What an impactful story. I'm gonna share what he said with you guys, and while you listen/watch, I want you to remember just how important it is to feel your feelings, to know that you're not alone, to recognize that shame isn't always your fault, and actually it's okay to feel it, but most importantly, to protect yourself however you think is most fit.
How long have you been celibate, Tim?
I've been in New York for 42 years, 43 years.
Wow. So this was a choice that you made.
Yes. I had a very serious 9-year relationship in Washington, D.C., and I loved this person deeply and would have done anything for him. And I still remember the night that it all ended. We were in bed watching MASH. It was the first run. And he said to me, I have no patience for you any longer. I want you to leave. I had my own apartment, but I had been living with him for years. And I left. I drove to my apartment on Rock Creek Parkway, and I had to pull off because I was hyperventilating. I was beside myself with self-flagellation and self-pity, and it was awful. And this is someone I worked with. So it wasn't as though I just would never see him again. And one of the things that he told me that night was that he'd been sleeping with just about everything that walked by. And I had been loyal and faithful to him. He was the only person I'd ever been with. And this is the advent of AIDS. It's 1982.
Wow.
And I thought, so the self-pity then turned to completely unbridled anger because I thought he may have given me a death sentence.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And I was tested every 6 months for 10 years for HIV. And thankfully, I had a clean slate.
Yeah, thank God.
But whenever I was even tempted to engage in something that could become serious with someone, all this would come back like Niagara Falls, and it would just take the desire away. And I have to say, being celibate and being someone who lives alone was a bit of an adjustment. But now I wouldn't have it any other way. And COVID and the pandemic and our sequestering brought this all back for me because we had to stay home. And I'm probably one of the few people who really loved it.
I'm so sorry to hear about that relationship and what a horrible ending to a relationship.
I'll invoke a phrase that I use all the time, and my mother absolutely hated this phrase. Things happen for a reason. And sometimes the reason isn't revealed at the moment. It may not be revealed for days, weeks, or months, or sometimes even years. But had this relationship not fallen apart, I would never have moved to New York. It would never have happened.
Mm-hmm.
In 1982, when this relationship was still ongoing, I had been offered a teaching position at Parsons here in New York. And I said no. I said, I'm very happy. I have no desire to leave DC. But a year later, after my life had changed, Parsons called again, and I said, I'll be right up. And 2 weeks later, I was living here.
So, how long do you think it took you to get over that relationship? To really, truly be grateful to be in your own company to that point?
Well, to be honest, upon reflection, I would say it was the end of those 10 years of being tested for HIV. I thought, okay, I have a clean slate. I'm good.
Yeah.
But every 6 months I would have this bout of anxiety about what if. It took a while. And I occasionally relive it in my head, but it doesn't hurt any longer. We all know that time is a great healer, but the amount of time that it takes depends upon the circumstances. It was helpful for me to get out of Washington because I wasn't seeing him every workday.
What was it like when you did see him after you guys broke up?
It was completely horrible. I wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
And I wanted him
to
to hurt as badly as I had been hurt. He seemed to be impervious to it, though. So it was just great to get away. And also moving to New York, I had this huge learning curve about this entirely new environment and different social interactions and a completely different academic environment in which I was teaching. So that was a wonderful, I won't say it was a distraction. It was just a new beginning, and it was truly new.
Yeah.
So I would say to someone who's been in a long-term relationship that's terminated in some way, it's good to, I won't say change your job, but
it's good to move to another city and change your job if you can afford to do either of those two things.
Or just get a new living environment, something that makes you know that things are different in more ways than just this relationship going away.
Did he ever make contact once you hit the big time?
No.
Yeah, good.
No, I haven't heard a thing.
That's also
fine.
Nice. Yeah, right.
I mean, get what you want out of that, but at the end of the day, wow, it's giving strength, courage, growth. There's just so many phenomenal lessons and insightful perspective to get out of that vulnerable moment. I am so grateful that he shared that with us. I mean, 43 years, bitch.